Hi everyone, karibu kwa discussion yetu ya leo. Leo tuko na mengi sana ya kudiscuss. A lot is really happening in Kenya. People are not resting. I can just see hapo kwa comment section wale ambao wameingia. Can see I already have some viewers. Can just say salimiani. Alafu tusalimiane hapo comment section tuone wale ambao tuanze tu we saw Kalonzo Musyoka at JK Live, and he laid some of the agendas if they will be one of the people who will be producing a presidential candidate in next year's election. Akatoa agenda zao, we will look into those agendas, and also seen today the police for Governor Sakaja for his failure to present himself to the Senate. We've also seen Margaret Nyakam telling us the sharing the country's debt, of how things are going and how such affect budget. Yeah, so I think I'll start with the Kalonzo's interview yesterday. There are certain things that he said which are and also we're talking about the Nikadi. The Niko will be tutakuwa tunaongelea mambo ya IBC is going on with the registration. I've seen that they started the mass registration of voters across different countries, and since the last week, sometimes machine is going machine modes, then it's delay in ringers. I think now the IBC has done something in order to streamline voting. So those are some of the issues that have been emerging, and we've also seen that Gachagua answered Duale. Duale said that Gachagua should answer him saa 4 isipite. Saa 4 ilipita lakini gajibu. So yeah, I think hii IEBC itakuja pale katikati. Kwa sasa I can start with what Kalonzo, I can start with the thing that happened yesterday, a few things, and which includes some of the manifestos of the united opposition. Kwa wale ambao wameingia, tuone comment section kwa salamu, alafu sasa tuanze na mambo ya Kalonzo. And also before we go far, last week Peter Mbuthia, it's okay, just a minute. Last week we saw Gachagua giving a warning to the Luo community about what Kasongo can do to them. And I've been seeing them, especially these the people who always go to the Bunge la Mwananchi. I've seen some of them who are Luo, they are saying, I think I can play a clip, just a sound of it. So I don't know if they listened or, because this is what they are saying.
Asubuhi na mapema apigia Ruto. Venata nyinyi mlimpigia. Kwani sisi ni wabaya? Tukimpigia na nyinyi mkimpigia. Alikuwa Yesu Kristo. Hapana, venye mlimpenda hata si sahihi. Yesu Kristo wetu. Rigathi Gachagua pole. Na kama ninafikia Rigathi Gachagua pole. Basi rafiki yetu hataki tutusi na ila kila mara. Hataki maendeleo yetu. Ukabila. Huyu ni mtu wa siasa. Hataki utuambie utukuje na Rigathi Gachagua. Uwezi uwezi. Uwezi. Sasa kuna burudinga. Huyo tunataka power.
So this is what one of the followers said. He said that
asubuhi na mapema
yeah,
apigia Ruto. Venata nyinyi mlimpigia.
So he's saying they'll wake up very early in the morning. Now that we are going into the electioneering period, that's what they're saying. Since you voted for William Ruto, was he Jesus at that time? And they're saying they'll wake up very early in the morning to go and vote for who? For Ruto. Let's leave that alone. So, the Nico Kadi mantra campaign is still going on, as we have seen. But I think that one I'll bring it at the middle of our discussion so that we will have more to talk about. So yesterday, Kalonzo, whom you know he's a senior counsel and legal expert, was at the JK Live, and there are some of the things that he put down as some of the manifestos that the opposition parties will put down. So one of the manifestos, or the first manifesto, was cutting down taxes. Apart from cutting down taxes, they talked about stabilizing education because they said like there are very very many interns that are still unemployed and not have not yet been posted as teachers, and also he was like in his own view that this CBC education or CBC curriculum was implemented way faster or in a hurry, uh, and it's facing some challenges, and therefore they might come up and introduce some of the measures that will streamline the CBC curriculum. And he also talked about health, prioritizing health and making sure that to make sure that SHA works, and because we've all been knowing that the SHA money has been going into someone's pocket, and we've seen earlier on that some money disappeared, and yeah, it's being squandered by some, as the president gave us a new term lately, by some scavengers. Yeah, that is it. And then another thing that he said is that they could eradicate corruption. um, He also talked about infrastructure, whereby kuna wakati Jeff alimuuliza JKIA now looks like a warehouse. So he was like, there was some people who came and they were ready to look into this matter of JKIA and do whatever, but they were told to, I don't know, to bring 10% of something. And then those people were like, no, this one. But I heard they had a good deal. And the people ended up going to Rwanda, whereby I've seen Kagame trying to build, Kagame has been building a world class airport. And yeah, they are the same people who came to Kenya to ask for how to upgrade or rather to renew JKA, but they were being asked for some percentage of money, and they are like, you can also go and invest in another country and do uh, whatever. Because earlier we saw some people who are involved in some scandal. That guy Adani who walikuwa wanataka kuminvolve in this JKIA renew until they discovered so in terms of infrastructure, Kalonzo was one of the manifestos that Kalonzo put on table. Um, he also talked about equal development. This is in a sense of what devolution has brought, and when there are some of the things that Kalonzo told us the other day, and if you look into those issues, we are to the question that I have to ask you, to ask you, my fellow Kenyans, is that do you think that Ruto's government is clean? Do you think that this government is clean? Are we going to Singapore? Is it real? And are we going to Singapore? Because of ukisikiza mambo mengine ambayo Kalonzo alikuwa anasema, um, first he talked about the way the president has been running around with talking about the Chagua's family and his late brother, and he talked about Kasongo not understanding the law of inheritance, and yeah, and told him to focus on development rather than intervening into people's issues. He also talked in Kalonzo talking about if this government is clean or not. He talked about the RFS, Sudan. He said that Kenya is being used as a transit to receive and give weapons to the RFS force in Sudan. which is encouraging the wars that are taking place there. He said that the RFS leaders are also being given passports in Kenya. Na ukikuja kuangalia lately, hata sisi wa Kenya wenyewe bei ya passport inaenda kuongezeka because they are saying hii passport ndogo hii ya is it 9,000 or something, zimebaki chache sana. Actually my friend who works at one of those organizations was like, mbuy passport haraka because hizi za bei ya chini inaenda kuisha. But at the same time the passports are being given to the RSF leaders of Sudan, and also he said about the gold. Okay, as the war continues in Sudan, the gold is being taken and then brought here in Kenya. It is cleaned here and given a certificate of origin as Kenyan gold, then exported to the Gulf. It clearly shows you how the deals that this government is being involved in. Because we have our own gold in Kakamega, but they are doing nothing to actually it doesn't, and they just know how to export it and put the money maybe into their own pockets. So yeah, those are some of the issues that Alonso talked about, and as I have elaborated some of the issues, the question is Ruto's government clean? Is it really clean? Are we really going to Singapore? Does it make sense when they tell us we are going to Singapore? Yeah, so hayo ndio yalikuwa maneno ya jana, Kalonzo akisema kwa JK Live, and he also talked about the Linda Mwananchi faction. Akasema he's writing a book, and in there he'll be writing saying that Raila's vision, or rather Raila was not involved in Raila didn't believe in broad-based government. He only had some agendas that were to be zilikuwa zitekelezwe na Ruto, and that is it. And he was saying that his friend James Orengo and Sifuna are the ones carrying Raila's true vision, and also says he's very hopeful, and he's very hopeful to work with Linda Mwananchi, and also to work with the Linda Mwananchi. And when he was asked about kugombea presidency, he was like, even if I Kalonzo will not gombea uraisi, I'm very ready to support whoever that will be picked. Peter Budhia is saying, can you please analyze the TO of parastatals in... Oh, yeah, Peter Budhia, yeah, it's really true. When you when you look at most of the parastatals, they are being led by people from the Kalenjin community. And someone was saying it's like Ruto is trying to reward them for their loyalty. So I don't know, because once someone decides to become a tyrant or a dictator, he or she will the other day I talked about kleptocracy, which includes nationalizing, making your friends be in charge of all the sectors of the economy of the country, so as even if utapatikana na scandal ama nini ama kuna vitu unataka kufanya huko ndani na ni mabeshte zako ndio wako in charge of those sectors, you will not be questioned compared to if they could just be neutral people who have been selected and who are fit for those roles. So he has put his people in charge of this so as asipate questions or hata akitaka kufanya anything in that sector or in that parastatal asiulizwe. Yeah, Peter Mbudhi, I can see, and a lot of people have really been complaining about this, like almost all the parastatals is Kalenjin, Kalenjin, Kalenjin. So he's saying other people are tribal, but isn't he tribal also? Um, Peter Mbudhia, you can join me in studio so that we debate by clicking the link on the comment section. We've also seen today the United Opposition had a rally in Ukambani. They have said that they'll be in Ukambani for the next 5 days starting today, na tuliona pale kulikuwa na Eugene Wamalwa, kulikuwa na Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo, kina Maanzo, we saw Senator Onyonka, we saw Matiang'i, and everyone there was one term. Everyone there was one term, and in the same kwa hiyo kikao tuliona Matiang'i alijibu Duale because Duale said anataka answer by saa 4, but I saw Gachagua akimake jokes akisema alipitia kinyozi kidogo, akasema one of Duale's companies is associated with SHA, with the downfall of SHA, and yep, that is it. Maybe let me just look for the clip of what was going on in Makueni. Get the video. Just a minute so that I share the video over here.
Je, mimi niko kadi? Je, nyinyi mko kadi?
I think you've heard what Rigathi has been saying. I've tried to share the screen and Rigathi ameongelea mambo mpaka na na fertilizer na pia akaongelesha watu wa ameongelesha hapo watu wa TAWA akawaambia watu wa kambani wakipiga kura wana make sure kuanzia MCA kwenda mpaka juu ni chama ya Kalonzo. Akawaambia wasiposikia ni kiboko atakuja naye. Ameongelea pia issue ya fertilizer, telling Kasongo to stop concentrating on mere issues kama ya familia yake and concentrate on such things like fertilizer and development, but because amesema Kasongo alikuwa amedanganya Wakenya mwanzo ati alikuwa ashasema fertilizer iko tu ya bei ya yenye wakulima wata afford, lakini sasa saa hii anasema fertilizer bei sasa iko juu sababu ya vita ya Iran, vita ya Iran na USA. Na pia akaongelea ili swala la Duale la SHA sababu amesema kuna kampuni ya Duale ambayo ndio iko involved in the downfall of SHA, but tumeona kwa tena Duale amerudi akajibu akasema hii yote yenye Gachagua anasema ni uongo na he's really waiting for those 6 months to see if SHA would have collapsed. Yep. Na sasa swala letu la kwanza ambalo tuliongelea ni kuhusu interview ya jana ya Kalonzo. Nadhani mnanisikia. There was just an internet issue. I've restarted my laptop, so I've decided to use my phone kidogo and then I'll be back in like few minutes. Kuna issue ambayo tulininio jana ya Kalonzo akiongelea pale JK Live. Na mimi swali ambalo ningependa tu kuuliza juu ya hilo ni kwamba mnaona Kalonzo anatosha atoshi? Ukiona kama Kalonzo anatosha sema mbona anatosha. Kama unaona Kalonzo pia hatoshi sema mbona Kalonzo hatoshi. I'll be here waiting for your views. Niambie kama watermelon anatosha ama hatoshi. Kalonzo anatosha 2027 ama hatoshi? Ama vile alisema jana yeye ako ready kusupport anyone who mwenye watachagua, mnaona yeye kwetu kwa laini ya support? Because so far Kalonzo has been like in opposition for like 15 years since they started working with they used to be there with Raila Odinga, and he's been in government for over 40 years because he entered politics when he was still young. So do you guys think Kalonzo is enough ama bado? Kalonzo ametosha mboga ama bado? Yeah. As I had said earlier, I had lost connection. But I had asked one question about hii mambo ya Kalonzo. After mmeona interview yake, mnaona Kalonzo anaweza ama hawezi? Ama kama anaweza mnatupea reason, kama hawezi tena mnatupea reason. Lakini mwenyewe jana alisema ako tayari ku back up anyone mwenye atachaguliwa kusimama kiti cha urais. Alafu tumeona leo pale Makueni, I think I had already started sharing the video. Gachagua had said that had just encouraged the people of Makueni that they should make sure that all seats kutoka juu mpaka chini ni Wiper. Akawaambia akipata someone amepigia mtu wa Kasongo ni kiboko. He encouraged the Ukambani members to register as voters because they also play a key role in when it comes to election. Yeah. I think that is it. As I wait for your comments, kuna hii taarifa leo by Margaret Nyakango. I think we've had some news from the controller of budgets giving caution about Kenyans' debt. He said that the country has been signing debts in a hurry, which has ended up leading to them to pay on amesema kwamba the controller of budget has said that the country imekuwa ina sign into loans when they are not ready na there is a debt that has accumulated which might in turn affect budgeting in this country, and they have been paying commitment fee because easy loans once zinakuwa signed when they are not ready, they have to pay commitment fee because they have which they are supposed to pay commitment fee sababu hiyo pesa hawajai access na the packager is ending up ku ninio hivyo, so signing the loans earlier causes accumulation which they have to also pay for, which might in turn affect budgeting and other. Let me just try to find the video. because he has said the debt is accumulating and it's really rising very fast. Uh, and in such a situation is where SAPs now come into place, because and if SAPs will be forced into Kenya by either the IMF or the World Bank, we might not end up in a good place, because the SAPs, I mean the structural adjustment programs, they always come with their own condition. I remember, like, during the time of Moi, SAPs comes with conditions. They might force our country to maybe to reduce the retirement age. Utapata sasa miaka ya walimu itapungua, watakuwa wanaambiwa they retire at 45. Once SAPs come into place, our country will be in a very bad state, because maybe even the government might be told to reduce, what is it called, to reduce some of the employees, so as to, it just comes with a lot of conditions, or maybe some of the privileges that, you see, when SAPs were introduced during Moi's era, a lot changed. I heard that there was someone who is older than me who was telling me that during their time in campus, they used to walikuwa wanapewa food nini nini nini, but when things such as these structural adjustment programs are imposed by the IMF or the World Bank into a certain country that is indebted and has so many debts, it comes with a lot of conditions, and those conditions are not negative conditions. So what the controller of budgets said today is really supposed to be taken into consideration, because if he has said that we have accumulated, the debt accumulation has increased, then hatuelekei mahali pazuri kama Wakenya, na at the same time president wetu anasema ati amestabilize economy, na hata kama wanaomba hizo loan zenyewe, what is the loan doing? Wenyewe hatuoni kitu inafanya. Yeah, so as I was saying, I'll play a video concerning that, what the controller of budgets has said, because yeah, and we're also going into an election period, and I'm sure these people, Yeah, here is the video.
Lots of stuff to grab. What are you waiting for?
Olha só, vem aí mais um concurso para o Banco do Brasil, para o cargo de escriturário. E esse vai ser o
amount to 3.3 trillion within 1 year. Appearing before National Assembly Debt and Privatization Committee, Margaret Nyakango said that the pressure exerted by the high debt servicing obligations has been constraining fiscal space, limiting the government's ability to allocate adequate resources for development and social programs such as education.
Let me see, I can just put the video on the screen. Just trying to look for the video of the controller of budgets, Margaret Nyakango. I'll be playing it in a few minutes. Hi Enlightened, umekuwa wapi? Welcome to the show. Sijui if you've been there since we started ama ndo umeingia sasa hivi. I was just trying to share the video seen earlier by the controller of budgets, Margaret Nyakango. Are you able to hear me, Enlightened? If you can hear me, can I just get an email on the comment section so that I know if I'm clear? Oh, at first, Enlightened, we talked about Kalonzo's yesterday interview and alionyesha agenda zao kama United Opposition na pia he told us some of the things that are happening in this current regime and he's just asking a question. Do you think Ruto's government is clean? And apart from that, I was asking people, do they think that Kalonzo is enough in accordance to yesterday's interview? In accordance to yesterday's interview, for those who followed it, do you think he's enough or he's not enough? And if he's enough, why do you think Kalonzo is enough? And also, if he is not enough, why do you think Kalonzo is not enough? Because he himself said like, if somebody else will be selected, he's ready to support them. And this is the question that I was just asking and would like to get feedback on the same. So, Enlightened, if you have any view concerning that, ningependa kuisikia before I put a video ya controller of budgets yenye tumeona akiongelea how Kenyans debt has accumulated which might affect our budget and it won't be a good one. Yes, so that's what we've been talking about so far. And I would like to get some of your views on the same. And the Senate ulitiwa sahihi between country and government, where we saw the Prime Cabinet and government at the Senate. So, Cherargei saying the governor of above the law, above the law, they should, for those who want to join the studio, the link is provided over there. And also in the comment section, I could get some of the comments about the same. Kina enlightened na wenzenu. I was actually looking for the view of control of
occasioned by pressure to meet debt servicing obligations on external loans whose repayment dates are soon falling due. Margaret Nyakango wapia
At the same time, the control of budget is tonight painting a debt crisis where 61% of the country's external debt, amounting to 3.3 trillion shillings, is due for repayment within 1 year. Appearing before National Debt and Privatization Committee, Margaret Nyakango
exposes the country to rollover risk.
We find ourselves in a debt trap where we sign for loans when we are not ready because we continue paying these commitment fees and interest, so we get poorer and therefore cannot do more development programs.
Nyakango blames the National Executive for signing up to loans without planning. Nyakango flagged the loan that was signed up on behalf of Kenya Power underground cables in the city of Nairobi, only for Kenya Power to report that they were not aware of such a loan.
We
budget hole is deepening owing to bond interest call-up commitment fees paid to loans states
because which behind it for us is what we are paying for.
The control of budget now wants Parliament to intervene before it gets out of hand. Stephen Leto, Citizen TV.
As you've seen on that video, what the controller of budgets has said. Amesema kama nchi tunaomba loan, na wakati wanaomba loan wanakuwa hawajajipanga vizuri on what they want to do with the loan, because he has said even they take a loan na maybe the parastatal yenye may take loan for development of that new, some of the parastatals are not even aware. Na after wamechukua your loan without planning what they have to do for, now they have to pay commitment fee because that loan is still in the hands of the lenders since bado hawaja pata any plan, and he has said that these are some of the things that are affecting development in Kenya, and ndio maana tunaona constraints kwa issues such as health, education, infrastructure, name all of them. And our leaders are not even talking about this. So sijui kama kesho they'll give a response to the same, ama tutaendelea tukukua hivi tukiendelea na watu kuendelea kurushiana matusi na looking into petty issues instead of looking into such issues that are affecting common mwananchi, things that are affecting health, things are affecting education, things are affecting infrastructure. You all know that a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. Ukiwa na country ambayo watu ni wagonjwa tu, hakuna mtu atakuwa productive kwenda kufanya kazi anywhere. So if our health system goes down, then we are all doomed as a nation. Education nayo pia ikiwa when we look at economic development, those are the things that we look at. We look at people's standards of living, we look at matters such as education, we look at, but when it comes to economic growth, when we look at our growth in our per capita income, I don't know where we are heading as a nation, but if we see the balance between our economic growth and our economic development, things are just comme ci, comme ça. And our politicians, or rather our leaders, especially the president, I don't know if he's taking into consideration such things. Anaona it's not important to the people to get proper functioning health institutions, proper functioning education, and a proper functioning education system. Because there was a time, I think it's one of the factors that Kalonzo was talking about. He said that we should really take care so that we don't end up where Zai ended during the time of Mobutu Sese Seko. You remember during the time of Mobutu watoto wake walikuwa wanaenda France kusoma asubuhi, wanapelekwa na ndege, wanarudishwa jioni. But at that time ungeangalia pia kiatu yake, it could be very expensive. But if you could look at the economy of Zai at that time, it could be very, the economy was very, it wasn't healthy. Mambo ilikuwa imesambaratika. If you look at the most important factors of the nation, they weren't functioning properly. And the way the controller of budgets has set things, it looks that we will end up in an abyss that we won't be able to recover for a period of time. And as I said earlier, is that once debts are accumulated so much in a country, the IMF or the World Bank introduces programs called SAPs, the structural adjustment programs. And the structural adjustment programs doesn't come with good impact to a nation. It might lead to our government being told to, like, it comes with its own conditions. SAPS comes with their own conditions. So we might end up being forced to introduce or implement some policies that might not favor everyone or favor the common mwananchi and even whatever, because they might even tell the government to stop employing people. They might reduce retirement age for people. SAPS comes with a lot of implications. So we must really check into this issue that the controller of budget has put in table today, because it's a very big thing and it might bring a very brutal impact to our economy and our country as large. Enlightened is saying, Valerie, so I hope in the fullness of time, Akina Kalonzo, that is, and Wananchi will merge. From there, we can make judgment on who is best for presidential candidates. My belated opinion. Or Enlightened anasema she can only give her opinion when coalitions have been formed and we see one of the candidate that they'll produce to stand for presidency. It's okay, Enlightened. Mbona si sahi? Mbona opinion yako haiwezi kuja sahi? Inangoja coalition. And then Enlightened, we've seen that today in Makueni there was a rally by the United Opposition, kina Kalonzo na kina Gachagua, and we saw Gachagua giving Duale his answer and telling the people of Kambani to kujitokeza sana kupiga kura, and he encouraged them of this. He was also advocating for the Fagia Water thing, which we were saying, like we were saying tuko kadi, not because of Ruto alone, but because of Ruto na wafuasi wake. So alikuwa anaambia watu wa Makueni wa make sure the way they vote, from MCA to governor to all those positions hapo chini, they make sure that it's Wiper, and they should not give room for vibaraka wa Kasongo, especially the MPs wenye alikuwa anataja wenye ni wafuasi wa Kasongo. He told them not to give room for them. They should all take them home alone. They should all take them home wote na yeah, I played the video here recently, and you also saw there Matiang'i and Onyonka. They told them, the people of Kisii wote wanasema ni one term. We also saw Eugene Wamalwa there, akasema Western wanasema ni one term. Who Gachagua himself said Mount Kenya is saying one term. There were some people from Mandera and Garissa who came also, some leaders, and they were saying also one term. We saw Jichopevu there, Jichopevu, Mohammed Ali. He was also there and he's championing for one term. He was like, when we entered this government, we thought everything will be nice. We were told this and this, but now things have gone out of control, and yeah, so all these leaders wanaendelea na hiyo mambo na wote tunasema ni one term. We have also seen it through the Gen Zs continuing with this, the Tukokadi initiative, so as to make sure we take Kasongo home very, very early in the morning. Yeah, enlightened, it's true. For now we have those wenye wanasema Matiang'i, wengine wanasema Kalonzo, wengine wanasema Sifuna. So I think when they form a coalition, it will be easier to gauge on which one. Yeah. And also we've seen that today on Monday, the IEBC has reinforced the wameanza mass registration. We've seen today in various parts of the country. I've seen in Meru, I've seen in Mombasa, Kilifi, even pale Coast nimeona wale ambao walikuwa ni Wapemba, the Pemba community. They are very happy that they can now register and choose a person that might even can maybe listen to their mahitaji yao. And then so the Tuko Kadi, as we said, the Tuko Kadi is not just a hype. It is not a hype, it is hope. Si ati tunachotana tu hapa kuambiana tuende tuchukue kadi nini. See, it's not just a hype. During other years tumekuwa tunaona, I think if we compare the IEBC of the previous years and this IEBC, or if we compare elections the previous years, it is the government who has been encouraging, or rather the IEBC who has been calling for people to go and register. But now this year we have a difference, because it is the people who are coming out to call their rest to come and register. So we can see the Niko Kadi initiative, it is citizen-led. And so far, the Gen Zs have said they don't want interference from politicians, because this initiative is citizen-led, and it is young people led. So it is just to mobilize people to come and take their kadi zao za usajili wajiregister kama wapiga kura. And Niko Kadi is just aimed at voting out this government. We want to vote out the whole of this government because tumesema ni fagia wote. Hawa watu wenye wanatusumbua huku kina Osoro na wenzao, hawa wafuasi wa Ruto, the people are not taking people's interest at heart. They should all go home. Si Ruto pekee anaenda home, anaenda na wafuasi wake. Tulikuwa tunasema kufa dereva kufa makanga, sasa leo ni kufa dereva kufa makanga na abiria wake. Na abiria wa Ruto ni hawa leaders ambao hawaturepresent vizuri. They should all go home, and that is one of the mandates, or rather the thing that the Niko Kadi initiative is championing for. It is just aimed at removing these leaders who have betrayed us. These leaders have betrayed us, and they don't take citizens' need into, they don't have the citizen needs and interests at heart. So the Niko Kadi initiative is aimed at mobilizing people to take their votes, to register, so that we vote out this government. That's why I've told you it's not a hype, it is hope. Yeah, we have to remove this government because we have a government that has a very fragile ego. So, just as Enlightened is telling us, it is fagia wote, fagia wote. We are not leaving any trash. If Ruto is going, we are taking him away with his trash. Atoke na takataka yake yote. Let me see some of the comments. It's still Enlightened is saying 10 years ago, a political analyst once told me, Kenya will be ruled by minority. I didn't really understand how, but now I do. E.g., how can a whole health body be owned by a single human being? Yeah, it's crazy Enlightened, just as you say, because Duale alisema anataka answer. And today the truthful man gave the answer. And he said the company that Duale owns is the one that is responsible for the downfall of SHA. And Rigathi never lies. Rigathi can do any other thing but Rigathi wadanganyi. He's a truthful man. Whatever Gachagua says always comes to pass. Yeah, so Enlightened has just been telling us about a whole health body being owned by a single human being. Enlightened, they say the amount of money that has been lost in SHA inaweza jenga a lot of, it can give us a good number of level 5 hospitals. But since we are governed by greedy individuals who want to take everything, like, I don't know why these people are not being taken into. That is why one of the goals of the Niko Kadi initiative is to make sure that all these institutions work accountably and like wafanye tu kazi yao. Institution kama EACC, we don't want to have institutions that are being driven by politicians in a way that even if the politicians are involved in such scandals and saga, hakuna hatua inachukuliwa. We must go back to an era where institutions in Kenya function properly and they do their role according to what they are primarily established to do. Sio tuko tuna commissions. Yes, we have commissions, but hakuna kitu wanafanya. What else? You can also look at I had a video. Tuone hii.
Tuko studioni na Women Rep Nairobi County, Mheshimiwa
There was this video today of Esther Passaris akiojiwa pale Radio 47 na Mwakideu, and there were some things that Passaris was saying. Let me just try to look for the video.
hashtag ni Mwashumbe na Mwakideo, na pia katika line
once in ODM.
Tano ulifanyika na unasema ulifanyika vizuri.
Baba would not do anything without consulting with Oburu. Baba was bent at
leadership ya ODM reach out wana ODM wengine akina Edwin
was bented by Oburu. They were good. Party leader is Oburu Odinga. Our party chair is Gladys Wanga. Our party delegates and members have ratified that position.
The question I'm asking,
followers of ODM, yes.
The question I'm asking is, now that there's leadership, na mkutano ulifanyika na unasema ulifanyika vizuri, what is so hard kwa new leadership ya ODM ku reach out kwa na ODM wengine akina Edwin Sifuna na akina Babu
Let me tell
na kina Usotsi na kadhalika na kushikilia nyumba isisambaratike.
No, nyumba haijasambaratika. President with ODM is focused on growing it. It's for us to do the work to go. Bwana Osotsi amesema anachukua deputy party leader for Linda Mwananchi. Alisema anachukua deputy party leader for Linda Mwananchi. Yeah.
We can see the way Pasaris behaved kwa hiyo interview ya kina Mwakideu. I can see there is Bas. Let me add you on stage. I think you have something to talk about. Welcome. Bas, I've just added you on stage. Since there is something that you'd like to talk about. Karibu sana. I don't know if you can hear me. Bas, you can respond to me so that I can hear that you're hearing me. Are we together, Bas? Before Bas joins me in studio, I've recently played a video of Nairobi Women Rep Esther Passaris while at Ready 47 with Mwakideu, and Passaris is saying that ODM is very okay, and he has even ended up saying that Sifuna na Babu hawana wafuasi. Hiyo ni chocha tu ya Wakenya wanawachocha, because when he said hana wafuasi, Mwakideu was like, but you saw yesterday at Tononoka, then Passaris was like, hiyo ni hype tu, Sifuna na Babu wanapewa, but no. So what do you think about what Passaris has said? Joseph, karibu. Welcome, Joseph. How have you been, Joseph?
How are you, mrembo? Varari, mambo? How is it going?
Mzuri.
Hata si tuko sawa kabisa. Hatuna maneno. Ya ndio nimeingia saa hii. Niambie.
Ndio umeingia saa hii?
Ndio nimeingia live saa hii, nikapata mnaongea hapa, kasema niingie kidogo niwasalimu.
Tusalimie. Tumekuwa tunaongelelea tu mambo ambayo inaendelea Kenya.
About ODM ama mambo yote. Mambo, unajua mambo ni mingi, masaa ndio machache.
Tumeongelea yote ambayo yamesemwa Makueni, venye Gachagua ameshajibu Duale. Tumeongelea interview ya Kalonzo ya jana. Tumeongelea what has the control of budget has said about Kenyans' loan and how it has accumulated and might affect the budget and all those. Yeah, that's what we've been talking about. Hope you have. Tumeongelea hiyo kukamatwa yenye Sakaja amekuwa ameendewa na polisi. Yeah.
So can I chip in kidogo ama?
Yeah, you can chip in.
I want to start with that one for the Auditor General. That one is nothing new. We are used to her coming and claiming the statements or putting the finances or the loans that are affecting Kenyans. I'm not saying about her, it's nothing new. I'm talking about the government. We are used to them borrowing money and not even asking us if we are happy with or we are satisfied with them taking loans. But you know, the body that was mandated to be able to ask those questions and be able to do the audit of the executive is already in bed with them. And it's very unfortunate that members of parliament need to know what has taken them to parliament. And they need to know that they are not there to represent themselves. They are there to represent the people who have voted for them. That one is called a House of Representative. Why is it called a House of Representative? because it represents the voice of the people. Executive is not a house. It's not a house of representation, because more so the people who are in the executive, most of them, if you look at them, they are not voted by the public. Only the president and his deputy are voted by the public. But if you look at, I think Valerie, you know who to make it rahisi, the structure of executive and who is involved in the executive, and the certain people who are structured in the executive, and we know majority of them, like the CSs,
president, and then cabinet secretaries.
And the attorney general, we don't vote for them. We only vote for only the president and the deputy, who come in a pack. They come in a pair. It's not like, even the old constitution was even worse, because the deputy was chosen by the president. Right now they go as a pair. So executive is not a house that is voted by the public. It's only the presidency which is voted by the public. When you go to the judiciary, who are supposed to be the last line of defense, they are not voted by the public. Most of them, they are always interviewed, or they are always chosen by the same president to be able to be judges, and they are approved. That's why you see everything stems from parliament, because those people who are drafting the constitution, or the people who are drafting certain aspects of power, even not in Kenya, even all across the world, they knew that the House of Representatives is the one which can be able to defend the people. And it's not only in Kenya, even for countries, even you'd never thought that they could be having, I don't know if you know, countries in the Muslim world, they also have their own parliament. I don't know if you know, but they always have their own parliament. Countries in the Middle East or Muslim countries, I don't think you know, they also have their own parliament, and their parliament also make laws which are able to govern the people. So this whole structure was designed to intertwine together with the executive and the judiciary, and in places where the executive or the judiciary can be having misuse of power, the people who are supposed to check them were the members of parliament. So clearly, the person even who has failed in this whole argument is not even the executive so much. The person who has failed in this argument, it is the members of parliament. They have become very, very useless, because this is the only August House. I don't know if Valerie, you have watched before August Houses, and you see the debates that were going on. This is just a joke of an August House. I think this one will go down. The 13th Parliament will go down as one of the useless parliament in the history of the Republic, because it's a place where you hear even members of parliament saying that I was not voted to speak on behalf of the people, but on the behalf of the party that brought me into power. So I think people should be very careful with the people they are going to vote in next, because now I think we are approaching the 13 trillion mark in terms of loans borrowed outside and also domestically. And let me be very categorical and say that the loans that are being taken by this government, they are not only outside loans. Before, why we were not hearing, why we were not feeling the pain or the pinch, is because government was not borrowing loans from local banks. But now government has started borrowing loans from local banks, and they are doing business with them. And the bank will tell the government, we are going to put for you an interest of 20% or 22%. And the government will say, okay, we are going to go through with it. But imagine for you, a local mwananchi who is trying to get a loan to be able to do his or her small scale farming, and then you are given a loan and you are told to pay by 22%. So the bank always, they want to tender, and they want to see it's better we give the government the loan, because they are going to pay at that amount of interest we want. That's why you see people have a cash crunch in the country, because people cannot be even able to get those loans to be able to better their government, their businesses. And it's also crosses in and comes in people being auctioned. I don't know if you've ever taken the newspaper of late and you see the pages of people who have been auctioned in Kenya, and it is they always taking 2 pages. It's very unfortunate that 2 pages of the newspaper are going to be having people who have been auctioned. I think you have seen even videos of even a man who was his trucks were taken and they were auctioned because of just he was trying to pay the, I think was it 1 million, and they took trucks for almost 10 to 12 million. It's very unfortunate. I felt very bad, but this is the life we are living in. I think we need to distinguish the people we are taking to parliament. One person by the name Matiang'i in 2022, I think 2021, 2022, they are about. He said that people are going to vote in thugs. And he said people need to be very careful to not let these thugs be into parliament. People just joked and they went and voted as they always do. We are voting because it's tribal and everything. Now we can see the fruits of what we always talk about. Let me tell even the two Tamaneas, because they always say that sisi tuko kwa serikali. My friend, everybody is suffering. Even if you are a Tutamanea or you are anything, that we are all suffering in this thing because of the decision that you brought or the decision we brought into parliament. Even the people who are in the opposition at that time, we who are in the Azimio, the members of parliament have become don't cares. Tell me any member of parliament that was there, you see, is always advocating for citizens. With the likes of Akina Junet, you can see what they do in parliament. Even there is no opposition in parliament. It is like one big body which is going forth. And if you find opposition, you find only few members of parliament who are they cannot even be able to marshal numbers to be able to reject some of the bills that are coming there. And if you want to know that their guest house has been a joke, and that's why they let even the government to take clothes wherever they want. You have seen them when the finance bill, the president said that the finance bill was not good. They started crapping, and you remember those are the people who passed the finance bill overwhelmingly. And then you saw them, they were saying that Adani deal is good. When the president said the deal is not good, they started saying it was not good. So what do you speak? Do you speak what Ruto is saying, or do you speak on behalf of what the citizens are telling you? I think also we need to focus on changing the laws of how parliamentarians are supposed to be removed in power, because we should not be giving. They should be feeling that if they can go against what the Mwananchi is saying, they can be removed in those seats. I think that one should be. They are the ones who draft this law, but we need to know of an avenue how we can be able to remove these members of parliament if they become rogue. So about politics in Kenya, ODM. I think you have already heard that the lawyer of Raila Odinga and one person called Onyango, who was a very confident of Raila Odinga, saying that the team you are calling Linda Mwananchi, which people have been saying that it's Uhuru Kenyatta who is funding them. You have been hearing them saying that you heard them saying that it was Raila's option so that he could get out of this agreement with Ruto, because he clearly knew that Ruto is not going to do all those things that they are set up for, and you can see he is not doing them. The 10-point agenda is dead. Those things that they had talked with Raila, I think this one was an avenue for him to get out of these things. And I don't think Sifuna is very crazy when he always say these things. They always talked with Raila. And if you have heard how Sifuna was closer to Baba, people have been giving stories, and you can realize how Sifuna was like the pen in Raila Odinga. He was like the pen that always write, because every memoranda or every documents that were supposed to be prepared, Sifuna was the one who was preparing them, and Baba trusted him. He was even telling them, kama ni hiyo agreement, pigia Sifuna alafu mtamwambiana mmalizane. So him having Baba's people are saying the spirit of Baba. I think even as we state that when somebody dies, he dies. I think somebody's spirit always lingers in, and we can see it through the team that is going on with the Linda Mwananchi. And you can clearly see even it's very unfortunate that his brother is trying to say to destroy the party that his brother formed. The question is, why did Raila Odinga not give him a chance to be able to? Sorry, why did Raila Odinga not be able to give his brother a chance to be able to have a seat in the ODM party? So these are things that are still happening. And for Sakaja, I have not seen that one. I have just entered now. I was quite busy kidogo. I hope you can tell us more, Varari. I did not know about that.
Oh, sorry. Oh, for Gachagua, no, not for Gachagua, for Nanio. Sakaja.
Yes, for Sakaja. I hear you're saying he has been arrested or the police went there. I did not know.
No, the police just went there and they want him to present himself to the public. Si yeye peke yake, ni yeye na governor wa Samburu. I think leo umeona nani alikuwa kwa parliament, who is it? The Prime Cabinet Secretary Mudavadi. There was this mkataba ambayo ilisainiwa between the county government of Nairobi and the national government. I think it's on its function. But sasa, okay, they were to come to parliament. They were summoned by the parliament so that they can come and give a clear picture of what that was. But now Mudavadi responded and adhered to the summon, but Sakaja and the governor of Samburu didn't come. So, which was against the law actually, because Cherargei was like, if they tell us that Sakaja and the governor of Samburu are above the law, then we'll not go for them. But if they are not above the law and they're supposed to follow this constitutional, wameitwa wakuje kwa Senate before the committee, wanafaa wakuwa wamekuja. So Sakaja didn't appear, and up to now Sakaja hasn't talked, hajaonekana. According to the last time that I watched, polisi kama wameenda kumtafuta or something. So bado haja ninio huyo Sakaja.
I think that is a wild goose chase. Even when you see Cherargei talking there, he knows what is happening. He knows what the cabal that they have been having with the president. And one thing I don't even want to talk about Sakaja and his arresting, because this is just their drama. Ruto is the one who made Sakaja not to be impeached. You remember? He said he supported that. He said that these guys should not impeach him. So why can he send police to arrest him? Do you think if it was a governor like, for example, let's say governor like Natembeya, he could have not been arrested by now? He could have been arrested. He could have been arraigned. He could have seen the things that he could have been going through. So this is just a wild goose chase. Cherargei is always used by Ruto to be able to seem like he's the one who is.
There is a point that Cherargei said, which was she was like, juzi Simon Kumar, Minister of Interior, ametuambia wanajua penye kila mtu analala na wanajua analala na nani. One day go for Sakaja. Then I was like,
but don't enter into the play of Cherargei. Cherargei is just a drama king. He's just been placed there to be able to continuation of the drama. But there is nothing which will happen to Sakaja because the president is the one who is backing him. I hear there was dealings they were doing in terms of garbage collection and everything. You know, even the person who is collecting the garbage collections, I will not name his name here, but you know. So these are deals they always do. And about Sakaja, that he will never be arrested. That one I know for sure. But if it was a governor who was always saying one time, hata sijui tungekuwa wapi, angekuwa amesha, hata angekuwa ndani saa hizi, hata tungekuwa tunaongea mambo mingi. You see, Waititu was found with corruption, and Waititu has been amekuwa kwa mashida hazikai, but when you hear about Sakaja who has embezzled money, he's not even been found ashikwi ama afanywi nini. So even some people like Waluke, do you know Waluke Varari? Na jamaa anaitwa Waluke. Waluke was found guilty, lakini bado yuko nje.
Yeah.
He's still outside, he's still roaming. So there's nothing big. The president has already damaged the image of the country. The country seems that the government and every sectors, they are corrupt, even Nairobi County. And Nairobi County needs an overhaul of everything.
Okay. And have you seen the answer that Gachagua gave Duale? Because Duale had said yesterday he needs an answer before Sunday.
No, I've not known about that their issues. But I know Duale is a very competent person. So I know about him. But you can tell me about him and Gachagua. I never knew that. I was not following that.
Oh, they have been in Makueni today, the United Opposition. So Gachagua said that Duale has a company, and this company is what is associated with the downfall of Shah. But Duale has denied that today also.
These are things which are there. They are not things even. The moment I heard Duale saying that 11 billion has lost in Shah, then when you asked, he started saying, no, there is no money which was stolen. You just know that the deals that they are doing. Let me tell you, if there is a ministry which has rotten to the core, a ministry which has, and it was rotten before, but right now even you cannot even pick the pieces. It is the Ministry of Health. It is corrupt to the core. They always do. You always saw, this MP called Kibagendi. Kibagendi, they had a very big fight with Duale in presence of Parliament, where you clear him. Kibagendi has the same tactical move like Onyonka, and he tried to show how Duale has been embezzling funds in the health ministry. You know where we failed, Varari? The place where we failed too much was Ruto found a system that was very good, but he destroyed it. He found a place where we had a place where not even NHIF. He found a place where we were using. Can you 1 minute, please? Sorry, Varari. Are you there?
Yeah.
Varari.
Yes.
Sorry. That was some disturbance. I was saying that we have Suduto found some things that were working, but he damaged them. For example, he found we had technocrats in these certain ministries, but in his campaign trail, he said that he's going to employ MPs to be able to come and become CSs, so that they could be always going to Parliament and being able to answer questions. But how did the Constitution design that? The Constitution had designed that CSA should become technocrats and not people from the Parliament. They were supposed to be apart from the Parliament. And that's why you see technocrats like Matiang'i, Magoha, and others. They were people who were able to do their work diligently, because even Magoha had really worked. I think if Magoha was the one who was in charge of CBC, I don't think we could be having fracas as we are seeing, where you see that boys are being called to girls' schools and girls are being called to boys' schools. We could not be seeing those kind of fracas. And not only that, do you know that even the teachers who supervised the elections for last year, Kipsea and the other ones. They have not been paid. And they are about to go to another exam. It's only one term, then they go to another exam. So you see the fracas that have been happening in the Ministry of Education. And that's why I'm telling you, it is the whole idea of Ruto. You know, Ruto is a person who does not like the new constitution. He never liked it. He even campaigned it. So he's not a person who is supposed to be. I don't know why Kenyans thought that Ruto will be very different. You cannot have a person who is going to be able to refuse the constitution. Then you expect that he's going to rule it well. That's why you hear even people are complaining that is damaging devolution. You have heard that people are saying that devolution is under threat under Ruto because he never supported this constitution. So, and then now you have talked about NHIF. NHIF was a body which was working, even though it was corrupt. For sure, it was corrupt, Varari, but it was working. It was working. So now, we were told that NHIF was corrupt, and we needed to have another system of health, which was not going to, which was going to be non-corruptible. It was not going to be corrupted. And after they said that they used 104 billion to create a system. I don't know if people understand what 104 billion means. I think my friend, there's a friend of mine who is called Fanyamambo Kenothie. He's from my area there. He's my neighbor. He was explaining what is 1 billion in terms of simple maths. And if you take 1 billion, you know, when you want to build one classroom, Valerie, you always take like 1 million to build one classroom. So if you want to build, if you have 11 billion, how many classrooms are you going to build, Valerie? You're almost going to build around, I think, 100 or 1,000 classrooms, no? Yes. You're going to build 1,000 classrooms. And now he also took a chance and said that if you arrange 1,000 note from Nairobi, CBD, if you want to finish that 1 billion, you need to reach Nakuru. When you are arranging them systematically, one note on a straight line, it will end in Nakuru. And now imagine 104 billion. What could have that done to us? We could have built how many classrooms? 104 classrooms? 104,000 classrooms. Imagine 104,000 classrooms. It was to be, but now that money was used that we are having a system which is not corruptible. Then after some few, even we have not finished the third year, we heard that 11 billion had just disappeared like that. So we lost the 104 billion. We have also lost 11 billion. So how much is that?
Joseph, the way I was telling these people the other day, 11 billion that is the 11 billion that disappeared in SHA.
Yes.
Can give us like 5 level 5 hospitals.
Yes, yeah. By the way, 11 billion that disappeared can give us 5 level 4.
Level 5 hospitals.
Level 5 hospitals, like the ones that governor from Kiambu has built. And not only even level 5 hospitals, Varari, it can also build police chiefs administration block, like the ones you have been seeing did in your building. It can be able to build them across the country, and police stations. Imagine how many police stations could have been built and how many roads could have been built with that money. So we are really joking as a country, but not us, we are joking. This government has made this country to look like a banana republic.
But Joseph,
so, yes.
Why is it that the bodies that should check for accountability and transparency in these sectors, they are not even giving any reaction?
Now, you know the body, Barari, you know the body that is supposed, to check the check and balances. Which body is supposed to do that?
Checks and balances in government.
Yeah, and ministries and what have you. Which body is supposed to do that? It is the National Assembly. The National Assembly.
The Parliament.
Yeah, and they are the ones who are supposed to call ministers and PSs to be able to get the true answers of what is happening with these ministries. Because you cannot tell me, the person who always run the ministry is always the permanent secretary. Because the CS can be removed at any time. But the permanent secretary, most of them are not removed just like that, because most of them, they hold the ministry together even when the ministers are not there. But you see, when Ruto entered, he removed most of the permanent secretary, you remember? And now we started seeing that, you remember even people saying that majority of them, they are coming from where he comes from. You remember? And they were giving the names. So
when we were starting the show, there is I don't know where he went. Was it somebody, Peter Mbudia? He was talking about. We were talking about how most of the parastatals are being under, most of them are like, it was an issue or an instance of tribalism in all those parastatals.
Yes, and I feel very bad because it did not start with Ruto. It started with also the past president. But now the problem, when you come there, you cannot start saying that, no, I found corruption, so I'm going to continue with it. If you are saying, there is an MP from Kitutu Chache, and he's very eloquent. He was talking very eloquently and saying that you cannot say that you have a PhD and all your things that you do and touch, they seem haywire. Rather, you cannot come and tell me, for example, you are a doctor, and then you tell me that every patient comes in your hospital, goes and is not cured, or he does not get well. Which kind of doctor will you be tell me you are? It means you don't know the work that you're doing. So if you see Gachagua saying that he's a PhD holder in Matawi, it is certainly what it is. And that guy even was saying that maybe he's not even the PhD holder. He was just given the title. People are given the title like the time of Moi. Moi was given so many titles. So it's very unfortunate that the people who are supposed to be looking after our money, our resources, everything. Now, like for example, now let me ask you, Varari, if we were told that we have oil. Right now, oil is not being found. Where is our oil, which was found in Turkana? We were told that we have discovered gold. Where is the gold that we discovered? When you hear certain aspects of, that's why I'm telling you, they are stealing even our resources. And it's very unfortunate because some of them, even we have heard, they have been found in, some of the resources are being found in outside offshore accounts. And most of them even in countries I don't want to name here, but they are in offshore accounts, and they have bought certain houses. Even they were feeling the time that war started, they were so much scared that their houses will be they will be turned into rubble.
Did you hear this? Did you hear this instance of Kenya being a transit for RSF, Sudan, and also them bringing some of the minerals from Sudan? Is it gold? And then the gold is being cleaned here in Kenya and exported through JKIA, and it's given a certificate of origin here in Kenya. So it passes through JKIA and gets exported to the Gulf.
We have already done money laundering, Varari. With this government, money laundering has been done, and whatever we call this stealing of resources, theft of resources from other countries. And I'm telling you, we are in a very dark path. And it is true what you are saying, because I can tell you, that's why I'm telling you that most of those politicians who are doing that, they have houses in certain quarters of Middle East, and they were afraid even their houses not to be touched, because that is where they do their cleaning of their money. If you want to know how, if you want to study how these people who always do money laundering. They always buy houses in offshores, and they have offshore accounts where they store their money, so that wherever even the country gets into problems, they can be able to jet out and go. You had even one governor. Imagine a governor is going to give birth in the US and has left hospitals in Kenya where they are in ruins and tatters, and he's saying that he is going to give birth there, and he's a full governor who comes back and start talking things even you don't understand. I think people should hold these people accountable. People should be very angry with these people. I don't know why Kenyan people are not angry with these people. We should be very angry. They should not even be given a chance to talk. They are supposed to be talking. They are told to shut off their mouth and wait till we finish with them. And let me tell you, Barari, one thing I always say in this life, they can do whatever they want, Barari, for now, till when they are out of power in the 2 years remaining. And even maybe the ones who will come, maybe also they might do whatever they want. But there is a day that there's going to be an uprising in my country and the country, Kenya. And let me tell you, nobody is going to be spared. You see those people who have ever stolen our resources and they have taken them out, and some of them have bought big parcels of land, and they are owning maybe a large chunk of Kenya. Most of them will not even enjoy that land, because people will take what is theirs back. This is not a threat, but I'm telling you the truth. In the near future, as our population is growing, because we know now our population is reaching the 60 million mark, I'm telling you that the resources are going to be deplorable, and people are going to go back to the what we call the msituni kind of tactic, the guerrilla one, and they are going to take back what was theirs. That is something I'm going to foretell for you in the future, and it's going to be bad for people who think that they can get away with everything. That time it will be their judgment time, and justice waits for no man. It is going to come, and when it comes, it's going to become very rough for them. So, but for the Auditor General, she's embattled. This Auditor General is embattled. She can do nothing. The people who could protect her, they are useless. The members of Parliament are very useless. There's nothing they can do.
There was something that I was saying before you came. Huh?
Yes.
Concerning this whole debt issue, because we have accumulated a lot of debt, and which will bring a lot of italeta matatizo sana in sectors of development, which tunaona hata development mambo imeenda mvange in issues such as this health and education. And therefore I was asking, I know in a country, when a country accumulates such a huge amount of debt and is unable to pay, there are always sanctions, or rather SAPs, the structural adjustment programs. There are SAPs that are always introduced by the IMF or either the World Bank in that country, and SAPs don't come with a positive impact, because I know I was not there during the time of Moi, when at a certain point the economy of Kenya almost collapsed and SAPs were being imposed on Kenya. Therefore, people were the retirement age can reduce for some people. Some people, ikabidi some sectors of government or some were reduce people, and then some of the privileges that university students were enjoying at that time, yenye mtu alikuwa anatoka tu campus ndio huyo kashapata kazi, vitu kama hizo zikadisappear. And also venye university students were being treated, because one of my lecturer was telling me that walikuwa wanatoka NYS, they go to campus food was being provided, everything was being provided, but when SAPs were introduced, things changed. Some of the things were cut down. I don't know what. I was not there, but it was just a research that I did, and some of the things that I was being told. So I was asking you, Joseph, does it mean that when Kenya might end up accumulating debt kama venye imeaccumulate ifike mahali ikuwe bad, then the World Bank or the IMF introduces some SAPs, what next?
Yeah. Some of it is called whatever you're saying, and it's called also a recession. You're put in recession, and you are told also if you want, if you cannot, you're supposed to. There's a word that they always use that you're supposed to be. I think there's a word they always use. When I remember, I'll tell you. But
yani they introduce policies that you're supposed to follow. Just that.
Yeah, you are put not even policies. You are put under your currency. Your currency goes down. Let me tell you, we were in the same kind of currency value with Pakistan. I think Pakistan even was a bit lower in terms of where I am, because one Qatar riyal here is 35 Kenyan shillings. So we were in the same par with Pakistan, but after they were not able to pay the loans, and the economy did very badly. You know, now the money of Pakistan is almost 107, the currency, from 35 to 107. You can imagine, from 30 even to 107. So that is what happens to your currency. And let me tell you one thing that we do. Taking loans are not bad, Varari.
Yeah.
But the problem is, do you take those loans so that you can be able to start things that can be able to bring back revenue and pay those loans? Those are the questions. Have we done any developments that can be able to pay back those loans? Let's take, for example, we have built so many roads, and those roads, for example, we are taking a loan to build this road called Nakuru, what do we call it? Nironi Mau Summit. It's okay, but you hear that they are saying that even it's they came with a program of PPP. But the problem is, Varari, we can take those loans and build that road, but the problem is it is always hyped. So most of the money goes to the people's pocket. I thought that we could be of people who are thinking further and have so much brains, because I think Kenyans are very clever, but I think the leadership is always, they are there just to steal. Because if you took those loans and started factories or companies that could be able to manufacture things like, imagine we even export toothpicks, we export everything, even pens, we export even pens. Imagine if we were able to revive the factories that fell down, or the factories that collapsed, and then we also built some more factories and started manufacturing in large scale. For example, pyrethrum, is it pyrethrum or cotton? No, cotton. Sorry, cotton. Cotton. If we could be growing cotton. Cotton could be doing us a very big difference. We have things like we have pyrethrum. We have large scale of milk. We could be doing even large scale of milk, and we could be exporting it to different places. Imagine even we remove milk from Uganda. Sometimes the maziwa you saw was called Lato. It was coming from Uganda. We don't have even eggs. Imagine we remove eggs from Tanzania. We could be the ones who are exporting these eggs to Sudan and everywhere at this time, and Somalia and everywhere. We imagine our industry in like the people of Meru. They always have the kinds of mogoka and water, mirai. But you see, the market was infiltrated, and even they were not able even to be helped by the government to be able even to get this their cash crop to even countries like Yemen and everywhere. So if we focused on industrialization and manufacturing, and we took these loans, I'm telling you, Varare, we could not even be talking about these loans right now. Most of them zimekuwa zimelipwa, and people could be having employment. But which kind of employment are we being given right now, Varare, when we have all those kind of loans? We have taken almost 13 trillion. We have people being told they are going to work in housing, which is fundi wa mjengo. That is what is, in simple terms, is that. Because most of the engineers see nyinyi mnakuwa watu wa mkono sana. So those are the things I was saying. What if we took the money that we were given and we were able to be able to build cities like the ones you see in Tatu City. Provide only, it is not the work of the government to build houses. It is the work of people to build their own houses and their own investments. The government, what they are supposed to do is to provide infrastructure for you to be able to build those houses. And the infrastructure is small roads which can read there, electricity and water and security. Then the other people could have been able to bring up their establishment, call on investors to come. Like Tatu City, I can tell you Tatu City was finished. And Tatu City is now extending. And Tatu City, how it started. Tatu City, the government at that time, wakati ya Kibaki, he gave those kind of amenities to them. And investors bought houses. They build houses. Do you know we have an oxygen plant in Tatu City? Oxygen plant that always manufactures oxygen for hospitals. But people don't know that. How many plants for oxygen could we have in the country? You could be having multiple, and we could be able to even to export oxygen tanks to all our regions, even live about taking them to abroad or what, exporting them in this region, Africa. We could be doing very good business with and getting money so that we can be able to offset those loans. And when you offset the loans and they are done, the institutions remain in your ground. And I'm telling you, those factories and everything that you're building, they're the ones who are able to build all the infrastructure that is near you. Do you know how Thika town started? Thika town just started as a joke, just that factories zilifunguliwa Thika. When they opened the factories in Thika, what happened next? People started building the residentials where people could be able to come and stay as they're doing work in the factories there. But can I tell you right now in Thika, there is no factories. I even can count how many factories are left standing. Imagine I came here and told you that Kisumu, they fish, but the fish processing factory is in Thika. Imagine, that is how we have been as a country. That we need to have a factory in Thika, whereas the fish itself is coming from Kisumu, Lake Victoria. So I think our approach to other things is very funny. But I think people in Kenya don't have, the problem we have is because we always back these people. But the leaders in Kenya, they are very clueless. And I've just given you an example of things we can be able to do to be able to pay our loans. But you see, they always take loans, then they say they are starting this mega infrastructure. Now, for example, that stadium that was built there in Ngong Road, it is just there at home. Ko karibu na hapo kwetu. Because iko hapo Ngong Race Course hapo tu ukienda Lenana. My home is in Lenana. So that whole stadium has taken almost, I think, 45 billion, was it? And they are saying when it is going to be repaired, it is going to be around 80 to 90 billion. Why do we do that for a stadium that is going just to host AFCON, and after it cannot even recover the money? Because it is true that stadium will never recover that money. Will it? It can never. Maybe it takes 100 years so that it can be able to recover the amount of money that has been. And it means within that 100 years, every month you must have something that it is hosting. Let me ask you, Varari, how many times have you seen things being hosted in Kasarani Stadium? How many? How many times do you see them? I think even Uhuru Park can be a very good place that brings revenue even than the so-called Kasarani. So these are things that always happen. But we as Kenyans will say, naeta development, tunaziona, si ndio hiyo stadium. But we don't understand that the repercussions always comes to the economy. People might say that mimi labda nasikia wivu. Si wivu nasikia Varare. Mimi nimeona, I've seen. Like for example, do you know the World Cup 2022, which was held here, used a lot of money, but the money that was used here, the government here was only hosting the World Cup for prestige, not for revenue. Kenya, we are hosting the AFCON for revenue, not prestige. We got no that money. Imagine right now, CAF is asking us, the Confederation is asking us 3.9 billion so that we can be able to place the bid of hosting. And we cannot even be able to raise that money as of now. We are even going to recession. And they have even said that the stadiums are not looking good. And they need to be renovated. So you see, our priorities are always upside down. The things that are supposed to be up, they're the ones which are down. The down ones are the ones which are up. And it's very unfortunate that we might say, well, it's we are going to be there for a long time, but what impact has the SGR had in our economy, Varari? It was created just how many years ago? 10 years ago.
20 since
Has it even paid the money that we were supposed to pay 10 years down the line? But people are going to say, lakini CSGR ni mzuri, tunabebo, tunafanya nini? No, we need to look at programs and things that can be able to boost our country. Because the moment I'm going to tell you categorically, kuna siku tuliambiwa tunaenda Singapore. There is no day tutaenda Singapore as long as we don't have manufacturing, industrialization, and corruption is low. Those are the only things.
There was a point that you talked about. I think you meant we should adapt the import substitution model. Like we should prioritize export more than imports, and we should make sure that we produce more locally to an extent that we can consume locally and then export the excess.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, my sister, that is one thing. Me, I just said the moment you see the moment, Varari, you are going to see we have started in the industry. And I also had Raila had a very good point. Had a very good point. He had said that we are supposed to be having a factory in every of the 47 counties. Because let me ask you, Varari, where do you come from? Where do you come from?
Kakamega.
You're live in Nairobi. Yeah, from?
Kakamega and Vihiga.
Yeah. So Kakamega, what do you have so much in Kakamega that you do? What is the most agriculture of what? Of sugarcane or what? Sugarcane?
Domestication of both plants and animals. Let me just say sugarcane.
Yeah, I will give you, like, for example, Kiambu. Kiambu, we have a dairy farming. So Kakamega, you have sugarcane, but that sugarcane, Varari, we cannot be able to create a factory that can be able to give us sugar. All the sugar factories are dead. We cannot even have a factory for sugar which can be able to supply sugar to our country, and we are able to export. That same sugarcane can be able even to give you food for it is when it is processed. It can be able even to give other things like fertilizer and also feeds for animals. So what could we be having within that sugarcane barrel? We could be having sugar, we have fertilizer, and we have another thing for dairy animals. So do you see, tungekuwa na factory karibu 3 ama hata ni moja tu, lakini hiyo factory ingekuwa inafanya nini Varari? Ingekuwa ina supply nini? Ingekuwa ina supply feeds za animals, sugar, ina supply fertilizer, and ina supply sugar to the country, and we sell it even beyond. So you see, we have only touched Kakamega, and Kakamega, has people who work. So how many people will it employ? It will employ the people who are farming sugar cane. They are going to start farming the sugar cane in bulk. Then after, we are going to be to have people who are going to be employed in the factory itself, and people who are going to be employed in the processing of this fertilizer and the so-called feeds. Okay, those feeds, Varari, they are needed in those feeds and the fertilizer. They are needed where? They are needed in Kiambu and places where they farm dairy. Like, for example, Kiambu, there is supposed to be a factory which was supposed to be processing milk. Factory kubwa sana ina gava, and it could have been processing milk
for the whole country. Hata watoto wetu siku hizo wamekuwa na kunywa maziwa ya bure, because the factory can be able to sustain itself, can be able to pay workers, can be able to give people who are around, they can be able to get employment. So that's what he was trying to say. When we come to places like Northeastern, the only issue they have is water. And if they were able to be built on boreholes and certain things, I saw even they were trying to do irrigation. And we know them as people who can farm, can be cattle herders so much. And if we had a factory which was being able to do all this, maybe meat processing, because now the factory is not even in Northeastern. The factory is in Athi River. Do you know the factory for meat processing is in Athi River? If it was there in Northeastern, it could give those people a chance to be able to do their meat processing and be able to even do all the skin and everything. We could be having leather and tan from there. Then we have the river text. You know the river text you are talking about? We could be producing our own clothes. No. So those are the things. Yeah, the one in there are very many. There is one in Eldoret. There's so many. They were all over the country, but I don't know what happened to them. That's why I was saying if we had a factory in every 47 counties, nakwambia hata huko Machakos Center kuna factory kubwa, kuna mambo mingi sana ya maembe. They always farm a lot of mangoes. What of those mangoes are not thrown and they are done into juice? We could be having a factory which is making, we have so much potential, and we have so much things that we can do to this country. If I talk about them here, even I don't know, I'll take how many hours. But the issue is one.
Bringing industries closer to where raw materials are produced.
Yeah, so the only issue, lakini si tunaambia sisi shida yetu ni stadium. Tunaambia shida yetu ni stadium. Shida yetu ni tunataka kukua na nini? Nini hizo ingine tunaambia yako? Tunataka kuwa na nini? Hizo ndizo shida zetu. I'm telling you, by the time you see, if we started these things from that's not even protect Uhuru. Uhuru also failed. If we started these things from 2013, because they were very young presidents, you know, Uhuru was very young, Ruto was very young. If we started these things from 2013, trying to major ourselves in manufacturing, I'm telling you right now, we could be speaking of another thing. Hakuna watu wangekuwa naona wakitoka nje kwenda kufanya makazi nje. We could be having, tungekuwa mpaka na shida ya employment, Barari. We could even be outsourcing because of how we could be very busy. China is a country doing that. Wanatengeneza mpaka saa za mikono, Barari. Watoto, they are making hundreds watches. Na mnakuja mnauziwa. They make even toys and everything. They make it. Imagine even we are exporting toothpicks. Me, I feel very ashamed. Even toothbrushes. Zingine mpaka tuna export, and we are saying that we are a country which is trying to grow to become like Singapore. I think we are joking. Until when we have real structures and leadership that is thinking about people or the citizens, we can never do anything. Let me just leave for Msunam.
Okay, thank you so much.
And I want to correct, it is 60-seater. The Talanta is 60-seater, but you cannot compare it with even the stadium that was built in Rwanda. Even the airport. It's tulikuwa tunapatiwa airport ya ati tutumie, how much were we spending? 30 billion, or was it how much? And I don't remember how many billions we were going to be given. I think 200. But that airport was supposed to be serviced by those people 30 years. And after those 30 years, they atulipishe mpaka another, I think, for eternity. But if you go to Rwanda, if you go to Rwanda, they were given a very good deal by Qataris. They were told that this 30, we are going to ask you, we are going to pay, you are going to pay. And after you pay, we are going to give back your airport, and you be using it to all along. And you know what was built in Rwanda? They built a new airport, Varari. On top of building a new airport, they gave them around 10 planes. And after giving them 10 planes, they built runways. Not one runway. Sisi tulikuwa tunaambia tina Adani tukuje tutengenezewe runway. Hiyo ndio ilikuwa anatuambia tutengeneze, na sijui atutengenezee terminal moja. Ati ndio atatulipisha maisha yetu yote. I think and you see here members of parliament crapping. Those people, I don't know how they think, but I think their minds are always lost. Thank you.
Okay. Msimamo, I can see you in the building. Karibu. Leo umechelewa kidogo.
Yeah, nimechelewa, lakini unajua chelewa ufike. Wanasema hivyo wahenga wetu kwamba chelewa ila ufike. Kwa hivyo samahani, kwa kweli nimeingia kuchelewa, lakini pia nimefika.
Leo tumekuwa tunaongelea.
Unanipata?
Na kupata.
Naam.
Umefuatilia yale ambayo tumekuwa tunaongelea tangu tuanze?
Uongo si kazi. Nimepata hapa mwisho, lakini kwa kweli mlipoanza jamani, sitaki kuwa mnafiki hapa kwamba sikuwapata kwa kweli. Labda kama kuna maswali niweze kuyajadili na mimi nichangie pale Mungu ataniwezesha, basi nitashukuru pia.
Sijui kama umeona haya mambo ya control of budgets, Margaret Nyakango akisema about how we have accumulated too much debt and it might be a problem to budgeting and and development.
Unajua mimi hapa nitakuwa mfupi tu, hata sitaki kwenda mbali. Sitaki kwenda mbali. Madeni tunaambiwa kwanza, kisingizio kikubwa tunachoambiwa sie walala hoi, tunaotumika kama kanga wenye chongo. Tulifanyalo basi tunalifanyia wale walona macho. Lakini hata kabla niendelee hapa, wacha nimsalimie ndugu yangu kwanza Joseph, pia nimpongeze sana kwa mambo ambayo ameweza kuyazungumza. Lakini vile vile pia niingie pale wa comment section, kuna ndugu yangu Aswambavuni Kenya Mkora maarufu Mato, lakini kuna Gudia, kuna Paul, kuna huyu alionikosha zaidi hapa mwanzo, amenikosha sana kwa kuweza kutikumbusha Peter Ambudhia, Felix Koskei or Koskei, Head of Civil Service, Head of Public Service, Abraham Serem, CEO. Hii kitu hatuwezi acha kuizungumzia if tunataka kuonyesha the real ukabila mahali upo, maana tunatangazwa ukabila mahali ingine, lakini huku watu wameficha ya kwao, wanazungumza ya wengine, na mtu anavyofaa kukaa ni azungumze ya kwake wala si ya mwingine. So je, katika hili ambalo Peter Mbudhi ameliweka hapa linatuashiria nini? Nani mkabila? So swala la kabila likielekezwa mali ingine, tusibebwe tu kama upepo, haswa hususa sie wananchi ambao tunatumika kama kanga wenye chongo kufukulia wenye macho, kwamba eti huyu ni mkabila, ati hatuwezi kuwa huu kwa sababu ni kwa kabila. Hili mnalionaje? Lakini turudi hasa katika swali lako. Masuala madeni ndio ambayo tumetangaziwa kwamba nchi hii, yani jijimu ilipoingia katika mamlaka ilisema kwamba tumeweza kuona empty coffers, yani deni lilipofikia hakika ni deni ambalo lilikuwa linatishia haswa Kenya kuweza kuingia katika mkumbo mbaya, lakini kwa kuweza kufanya maamuzi magumu yakiwemo ya kuweza kumtoza Mkenya ushuru, basi tumeimarisha dini lile kuweza kulilipa, lakini pia vile vile kujitoa katika miongoni ya mataifa ambayo yanakopa madeni. Haya ni mambo ambayo mimi si yangu kama msimamo, ni mambo ambayo tunayaona on daily basis katika hii siasa ya juu ya magari na kwa media, siasa ambayo haswa viongozi wao ni wengi wa maneno lakini wachache wa vitendo. Sasa je, ikiwa haswa original ni anayefaa kutuambia mambo yanavyokwenda, anatuambia kuhusiana na haya madeni kwamba uongo si kazi, tunakoelekea kama mambo hatakuwa mambo, basi huenda tukaingia pengine pabaya. Je, tumwamini nani? Na kama ni hivyo basi hazo zinazochukuliwa kama madeni zinamfaidi yupi? Na hata kama zimechukuliwa, je, hizi zetu ambazo zinachukuliwa kwa sababu ndizo ambazo za maamuzi magumu, basi zinaishia kwa nani? Hivyo tukisema one term, basi tunasema ni haya mambo kama haya. Tukisema one term si kumwonea mtu, bali ni kuonesha haswa uhakiki kwamba kashindwa, na asiyekubali kushindwa basi si mshindani. Yaani hili lieleweke. Kilichobaki ni ile mwenye mbavu nipishe basi. Lakini kiukweli katika hali kama hii, dada yangu ama ndugu yangu Joseph hapa, ni hali ambayo, na ndugu zangu pale hapa wa comment section, ni hali ambayo kwa kweli inatamausha kwamba madeni haya kama itatupeleka kusiko, basi kama taifa nani wa kulaumika? Ni viongozi, ni mwananchi? Asante. Vila kama unanipata. Vila back to you. If I am audible, can confirm. Naona Joseph hapa amesema atarudi kwa muda kidogo.
Oh, yeah, nakupata Msimamo.
Don't whether unanipata.
Alafu sasa kitu kingine ambacho tuliongelea ni kuhusu interview ya jana ya Kalonzo pale kwa JK Live. Sijui kama ulifuatilia.
Kwa kweli sijaifuatilia. Jana sana nilistick na masuala tunaonoka bwana we. Na sikuifuatilia zaidi. Labda pengine kazungumzia lipi stand zake.
He talked about some of the agendas that they might come up with as the united opposition, ambavyo vilikuwa kama cutting down on tax, stabilizing education, stabilizing health, and bringing balanced development. Because if for now we look at the health sector of this country and even the education sector, they are not heading up in a good place. And he also talked about the things that are going on in Ruto's government, which includes like Kenya acting as a transit of taking weapons to the RFS group in Sudan, which is inaendeleza hiyo vita, na pia taking the gold that is coming from the same war in Sudan, cleaning it up in Kenya, and giving them certificates showing that the gold has origin in Kenya and exporting it to the Gulf through JKIA. So we were just trying to ask, is this government really clean? Because there are some of the things that have been exposed that they are doing, and it's not really good. So Msimamo, what's your take on such things? Msimamo, unanipata kweli?
Hello, Valerie.
Yes, nakusikia.
Kumbe naye amefika. Valerie, umeniweka huko nyuma for a very long time.
Pole.
Sawa tu, haina mambo. Keep amena mbele yangu, so I'll let keep talk.
So, Valerie.
Yes.
I was contemplating yesterday about the Sifuna thing. It's become serious than I thought. Because there was an interview with Robert Alai on the radio today. And Alai, who is a great enemy of Sifuna, stated that the problem with ODM is not Sifuna and Sifuna and Babu. The problem is with the leadership. Meaning that Alai knows there's a big problem in Nairobi. I think we discussed this. Nairobi vote is not a Luo vote, unfortunately. This is a vote that was presented to some of this Luo leadership because of Raila. Alai is panicking. Alai thus states that ata Wanga shiki simu yake, Oburu is too old, that Oburu's PAs are the ones, or handlers are the ones who shika simu yake. So you don't have access to Oburu to discuss your grievances. It's just the people who are broad-based. So it means your kitu ya remote control is actually true. It's actually happening. The person who's running ODM right now is Ruto, through Junet, through Wanga. Ukiona Wanga akiingia huko Marine One, hizo vitu zote. That is what is happening. Now, the risk, the absolute risk that ODM is having right now is now the Sifuna faction. When Sifuna's biasness, Sifuna becoming a rebel started, was alienda wapi? Alienda wapi kwanza? Hata kwenda huko Nyanza. He went to Busia. Alienda nyumbani. He went to Busia to start hiyo kazi yake ya kuwa rebel. Somehow I think he knew this was happening. He was just trying to fight it out. So I'm beginning to see that Sifuna has become the next Ruto and the next Wamunyoro. I'll explain what I mean. The person you kick out of anything becomes hyper popular. When Ruto was kicked out of Jubilee, what happened? When Ruto was kicked out of Jubilee, and Uhuru alikuwa anasema mtu wa kutembea around, the people of the mountain wakamwonea huruma. Ndio hiyo. Kuja. Sorry guys. When Wamunyoro was removed as deputy president, it was less than 3 months. And look at the popularity. Let us look at these three gentlemen about their crowd control. Ruto, not so much now. I'm talking about the Uhuru of Kurandaranda, term 2, when Uhuru second term. You could see he's a great orator. He used to say what people want to hear. Not that we believed him. So he could control the crowds. Same thing with Wamunyoro. The sympathy of the people plus hiyo kutoa mtu hivyo is what is causing these people headache. ODM at the moment is dead. Now, there's nothing they can ever do. The day they go to Nyanza, it's over. I can foresee this. It's going to be heavy. If not a third, more of the Luo party is going to leave. If not a third. I know they're going to be very stubborn. Unajua ODM ni yao, ni Adamu. Even Alai said it himself kwa hiyo radio station. It means he's hearing from the ground that people are not happy. Hata hii mchezo yao walikuwa wanamfanyia Sifuna na hii ati Jalango, where's Jalango no? Si Jalango alikuwa na steam for the last few weeks. Alikuwa na moto mingi sana. So other than that headache, amenyamazisha hiyo stima ya Wamunyoro kidogo tu, just a bit, inviting the family. Hiyo kitu ilimalizika na case. If you want to reopen it, I don't know what Ruto is going to do. You know, appeals have been done, all those things have been done. Hiyo kitu tiisha zamani. Unless they investigate him, and those takes years. So unless he does complete bila alifanyia sisi hiyo na justice, it's going to be very difficult for Ruto to do anything. I think he's just causing noise for, what's his name, trying to slow Munyoro down. But now trying to slow Munyoro down, Kalonzo ndio ameamka. Kalonzo ameanza kuexpose. Nani atakuja sasa, anaitwa Matiang'i ataingia hivi. This man is being hit by every. If you look at his skin and his body right now, mtu amekuwa mgonjwa. People from ODM goons, ODM is known for the men in black and goonism. What did they do? They sent some goons in Embakasi. Ati sasa Sifuna aache kutangatanga kuja achunge constituency yake. Kwani kazi ya MP ni nini? Kazi ya MP ni nini? Si ni kuingia parliament and decide laws. And if he's not deciding laws, he does clinic with his people. What is he doing now? He's doing clinic. He's talking to his people. Kama unataka kumuona kwa ofisi yake, book an appointment and you'll see him as constituencies of Embakasi. Ama mnaongea mambo ya CDF fund. There's a committee for that. It is not the MP that deals with that money. He's just the chairman of that. So there has been a lot that has happened in the last few days. I just wanted to work out there. A lie talking like that. Mtu mwenye alichapwa na Sifuna alimtandika siku moja. Live mpaka hata Raila alikuwa amekasirika. A lie. I wish I could bring that video. Alai alitandikwa na Sifuna, and right now is the statement that Alai said. You can read the tea leaves. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Kip, for your contribution. I can see Mkenya Mkora. Mkenya Mkora, are you able to hear me? Because we are nearly closing the show, I'm not sure if Njiru will join us today. He told me he's kind of busy. So, Mkenya Mkora, are you able to hear me? Or you just unmute your mic. Maybe you're talking and then hauja unmute mic. Ama msimamo kuna mambo ulikuwa unamalizia, alafu tufunge show.
Mbona wewe kufunga show huenda pengine kuna ndugu zetu ambao wako mbioni kukimbia kuja hapa kuweza kusema yao, lakini anyway, yote 9 la 10 ni tampa salamu ndugu yangu.
Okay.
Keep, alafu na ndugu yangu Mato, na nafikiri Mato sasa hivi anatupata huko. Kwa hiyo tumpe nafasi tu.
Okay, msimamo endelea I'm trying to get my earphones to work. Sorry, I was muted.
Asante kaka yangu. Dadangu ulikuwa umeniuliza swali, nikawa namalizia swali, lakini sasa itabidi unikumbushe tena. Kwamba watu kama utaweza kulikumbuka swali lilikuwa umeniuliza. Ni la Kalonzo.
Na ulikuwa unaongea kuhusu Sudan na gold coming to Kenya, being cleaned here from Sudan and then exported towards the JKA and taken to the Gulf. by this government.
Yeah. Nafikiri kila kitu sasa tunakipata kwa uwanja. Ukistaajabu ya Musa jana ya keki na bondo, na tukistaajabu ya Carol Omondi pale kwenye mkutano wa pale kwenye lile jumba la nani wakati wa NDC ya juzi ile, wakiwa pale la moja lilitoa bomu lake naye. Lakini kama kawaida, kama dawa yale mabomu hayo na ngumi za meno zinazogongwa kila siku na Gachagua, lakini vile vile haswa naye haya ya Kalonzo, yote yanaishiria kitu kimoja kwamba tuna shida moja tu inatulazimu tuingie uchaguzi wa 2027 ya ondoa mti ama ng'oa mti alafu panda mti. Nadhani hiyo tu ndio kauli mbiu ambayo ipo, na wazidi sasa kutumboa haya majipu, kwa sababu haya ndo ambayo yatamwona cha Mkenya asisahaulishwe kwa chambo, kisha mwisho wa siku akajibata amekamatwa na ndoano. Kwa hiyo haya madongo haya ndio ambayo ataweza kutusaidia sie wananchi kukumbushwa on daily basis kwamba jamani, mambo yaendi sawa. Mfano kama hili swala la dhahabu na tunalizungumzia, na kama ndivyo lilivyo, je, hili linaonyesha tafsiri gani katika uongozi huu? Kwa hivyo Mkenya akijiuliza hilo swali, ndivyo anajua ni nini ambacho atakwenda kuchagua 2027 ikifika, Mungu akijali. Kwa hiyo napendezwa zaidi kwamba kila kiongozi akitoka atoke na bomu, akitoka anatoka na bomu, ili mradi tu kwamba ni mabomu ambao wanashindwa kuweza kuyapangua, kwa sababu nikimalizia, ni mengi ambayo Gachagua ameweza kuyazungumza huyu kiongozi, na kweli kama wanaona kweli ni mambo ambayo basi tungepata kwamba ameitwa mahali kuweza kuulizwa ni nini kinazuia, ni because ni ukweli, na huenda Gachagua yuko ahead ya kila ambacho amekizungumza, kiasi kwamba wakimuita popote basi yuko tayari na huwa analizungumza peupe. So hii hali imeamsha aswa hao wengine kuweza kutoka katika hiyo hali ya kuweza kupiana aswa mabomu yale yanafanyika chini ili mwananchi yaone. Kwa hivyo wakiwa wanaambua hawana mpango, hawana kile, hawana ajenda, sasa hii ndio kile ya kuweza kuzungumza kile ambacho kinafanyika chini ya maji ambacho kina athiri taifa. Mfano kama pale tuliposikia kwamba kuna watu wameingia wamepewa stakabadhi ambazo ni za muhimu katika ile taifa na ni wa nchi jirani. So mambo kama hayo tunafaa kuyajua mapema, ili kusudi aswa twendako tukaweze kuchambua gugu na tujue mbegu ni ipi, ili tusijipate aswa kwenye kikango kama sasa hivi tulipo. Nadhani mimi nitaachia hapo, ili kama ndugu yangu Mato yupo sawa, kama yupo basi
niko sawa.
Nimalizie langu la jana tunonoka, kwa sababu hilo ndo linaniuma zaidi. Asante.
Niko sawa saizi. Am I audible enough? Msimamo unasikia?
Of course yes. Chamblecho wazungu na wahenga, sijui kama hapo nimekimenya Kiingereza.
Yeah, umekimenya
Kiingereza hapo. Of course yes.
Kiswahili wakimenya kweli. Valerie, thank you for a good show. Naona Njiru yuko keep yuko hapa, and msimamo kama kawaida. I'm really appreciative of your conversation. I was wishing ningepata Joseph up hivi, because he was talking about the economical part of the geopolitics that is happening in Kenya. And I really wanted to ask him some things, but since he's not here, wacha nianzie huko, and then I'll come back to Tononoka and these other things. I feel what he was talking was nice, and since he's not here, sitamwingilia ama sitasema, because I have no one to talk about that one when it comes to what he was talking about. It's something that really catched me and caught me, not catched me, caught me. And I had to really listen to him and stop what I was talking about. I mean, what I was doing. Valerie, the conversation you guys were having with Joseph, I completely agree with what he's saying. The thing is that there's something that we've been saying here, and I've been a stickler of it, is that whenever you have parastatals, they're not there as a government ownership thing. They're there to cushion the citizen of that country from taxes. Because if the government, the recurrent bills, paying people their salaries and everything, if you can get them from parastatals, which the reason of saying parastatals is government-run businesses, it is so that way they cushion the common man from paying a lot of taxes. And actually sometimes even they used to go to a point where they would even build that road that is right next to you. Now when you see someone who's starting to kill these parastatals 24/7 and talking about PPEs, you're making it private people who are going to run that. It's kind of like this new road that they keep on talking about. Now they want to make it PPE and they want people to pay tolls. Why would you be paying toll? So I think this is a conversation that I wish ningepata nani hapa, Joseph. Now moving back to Tononoka. That was the greatest move I've ever seen of Sifuna, and they're building him to be a big person. And this thing is not Sifuna, because I followed it very well. This was people, I was looking at how much SGR made just by that weekend. Because everyone was going down to Tononoka. And one thing I was laughing with myself today is when I woke up and I think with Ruto, I think he's lost trust with everyone in the country to a point that I woke up, I didn't even know that Kina Kalonzo, Matiang'i faction and Kina Muturi, they were going to be in Ukambani. They didn't even tell anyone. But also, now that they had this big crowd as Sifuna, but they shook that side. So basically, I'm thinking the whole nation, and the funny thing that they had, one thing that caught my eye, is that they actually came with IEBC registration guys who were situated behind the tent. They even called one to stand and tell them that, hey, you guys come and register behind here. I am seeing a movement that is unstoppable. And there's someone that asked, a lady on national TV was asked, I don't remember which TV it was, they were asked, what if Ruto comes back? And she looked at the moderator and asked, who's coming? Who's bringing him back? Because so far, I don't see a path. I mean, I've tried to look, I've tried. Hata namhurumia because he's been hit right and left and center. He doesn't even know what to react to. Like, I think he is a lost cannon that there's nothing there, nothing left. The Oburu Odingas, the ODM, I think Kina Sifuna, now I'm starting to say they need to just take their own go. I don't know. You remember ODM? ODM Kenya came through somebody, Manzo, in the name of Manzo, running with ODM came from ODM Kenya with Manzo running with the certificate. I think they just need to run with the certificate and go start their own thing. This guy will be voted in either way or. Kina Sifuna, kwanza if they join hands, I think it's over and dusted, especially the economical part of it. These are people who can actually articulate themselves with the law. These are people who can actually articulate. Yes? Sorry.
Sorry, just a minute. I just interrupt you. I wanted to tell either Kip or Msimamo to just handle the show kidogo. Njiru will be coming back in 30 minutes. I'll leave the show.
Yeah, but both, those two are good. Amato and Keeper. Maybe they can even do better than me.
No, but I have to go back to work.
Okay.
I had to take off just to come and just say something, and then I disappear.
Keep, is it okay? Like for the next minutes, and then Jiru is coming.
No. I don't trust Njiru's thingy. We are Nazamanga 30 minutes atakuja after 2. I have to go also. So we'll just let Msimamu finish his last statement and then we close the show. Yeah.
Okay, Valerie, I'll finish my statement another day. Yeah, because I have to cater to some things that I have to do, and then maybe I can just stop it there. I think I've already emptied at least 3/4 of what I wanted to say. So mimi namalizia hapo hivyo. So maybe once Msimamo finishes and Keep, I'll yield my time so you can close.
Yeah, I'm done to see Msimamo. And then you can close.
Yeah, but unajua ni kwangu ni vile dada yetu atujua mibano wapi, maybe pengine tutakuwa kwamba tumemgandisha sana papa, alafu tuone kwamba hatujamtendea haki, ila mimi nitafunga tu kwa maneno machache kwamba nilikuwa kule jana haswa, na niwashukuru sana wale ambao waliniwezesha hiyo safari kwa mara nyingine. Kwa kweli nilikuwa nataka kujionea kwa macho wala si kuambiwa, na ukiona mkutano ambao Wakenya wamejitokeza wenyewe pasipo kwa hiari yao, basi kuna ishara wazi kwamba kuna nini, kuna kuaminika kwa kiongozi hapo, unaona. Lakini vile vile nitaka kujua haswa mashabiki wanalenga wapi. So nikabahatika kukaa na mashabiki pale wa pande zote mbili, yani wale wanaamini serikali na wale ambao wanaamini Linda Mwananchi na United Opposition. So nimejifundisha vitu vingi hapo baada ya kukaa katika huo mkao, kuona kwamba kwa nini hawa wanapenda upande huu na kwa nini hawa nao wanapenda upande huu. Kiukweli ilinipa picha kwamba Wakenya ama wananchi hususan lazima tuelewe misingi yetu, tuweke msingi wetu unaishia wapi dhidi ya viongozi. Ni kweli tunajenga ile imani kwamba na wale wanasema kwamba it's our time. Zile kabila ambazo pembeni hazijakuwa zitambulika under this regime, because wenye ambao wameanzisha ndo ambao wameweza kuleta haya yote, nao ni wakati wa jamii zingine. So unafikiri huo ndio msingi wa wale ambao wanaamini upande ule, lakini wale nao wanaamini upande huu wanasema ni kweli kwamba ndio jamii zingine, but uongozi hapa katika ile tapo umekuwa wa jamii mbili. Kwa hiyo wale wana Mombasa wanasema kama ni swala la 2027 basi jamii zote zikae kando ili ipatikane nafasi ya jamii nyingine na jamii nyingine iweze kuendeleza pale. So nadhani huo ndio ulikuwa conversation iko pale, na mwisho wa siku niliona haswa wale ambao wana nguvu zaidi ni hao ambao wanaamini kwamba ni wakati wa mabadiliko, wala si wakati wa kuweza kugawiwa kimitazamo ama kijamii ama kikabila. So Linda card na tuko card hapa, wana kazi kubwa kuweza kutafuna ili sasa Millennium na wale wengine waweze kumeza na tumalize huu mchezo, tuhakikishe kwamba kwa kweli tumeweza kuona kwamba siasa ya kugawana haipo, siasa ya kulipizana visasi haipo, ya hawa walifanya hivyo, hawa walifanya hivi. Hiyo haitatusaidia. Kitakachotusaidia ni viongozi watakaomaanisha, viongozi ambao watasimama hasa katika msimamo. Kwa hiyo hayo ndio mambo ambayo niweza nikayazungumzia, lakini licha ya kwamba kuna wale ambao niliweza kuwafanyia mahojiano tukiwauliza maswali kwamba vipi haswa mnavyosema Linda Mwananchi, na itokee kwamba mmetumiwa wajumbe haswa ambao wameshika mkononi haswa kitu kizuri haswa, hamtaweza kuasi. But majority ya wale ambao nimezungumza nao na baadhi yao pia ndeweza kuzungumza nao live, wanasema wao wako radhi kuweza kusaliti pesa kuliko kusaliti taifa. Sasa unakuta hao wenye mrengo kwamba wamemaanisha we need change, wamejipanga, wanaamini kwamba fika hata ije pesa pia thamani hiyo pesa basi haitazidi haswa mapenzi ya nchi, kwamba nchi inahitaji uongozi ambao utaweza kusimama katika misimamo yake, lakini vile vile utakaojali katiba. So nikakuta kwamba upande huo umeshinda uwe wenye nguvu ambao wanasema kwamba ni wakati wa jamii zingine kuhusishwa na jamii fulani kutorudi haswa katika uongozi mazima. Kwa hivyo kile kilizungumza Senator Omari juzi wa SG yule yani SG wa UDA kwamba hatutaruhusu, it's true kwamba wananchi nao pia kuna fungu hilo ambalo linawapeleka katika hiyo hali, na pia haswa hususa wale wanaamini na broad based government pia wanapatikana katika fungu hilo, na kwamba it's a time for sisi sasa kuwa pande hii na pande nyingine tuachie jamii nyingine. So that's my take for today. Asante.
Thank you. Bye. Tutaonana kesho.
Wait, keep before you go.
What?
I am liking what is happening, but where's your auntie coming? Anaenda kuamkia Said Gani, because every day we wake up, someone is somewhere. Ama mmemweka kama the last card, the drawing card.
You'll see. Things are chemking now. Things are good. You focus on ODM for now. It's very sweet now. ODM is very sweet now. They're begging him to Sifuna to come back. That is the sweet part.
He said he will not come back. He will not be. He is not coming. He's Amanda one way. Anyways, well, for me, I'll end there and then keep where to Tonga. Njiru, it's good to see you. I think Valerie has done a good job of moderating, and yeah. So me, that's me. That's my time. Thank you.
Good one. All right.
Okay, ni sawa. Tutapatana kesho. Thank you very much. Appreciate it all.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.